Hi everybody, I wanted to come on. I have finally, and when I say finally, I mean it, I say it with such relief. I have finally finished reading The Desert Spear by Peter Brett. This is going to be a very interesting book review. This book took me a lot to get through because there were parts of the book that essentially dominated the book. Were supposed to dominate the book that I didn't like. So I'm going to start with what I did not like first and then move on to what I liked. The main character in this story is, or the focus of this story is supposed to be Aman Jardir, who starts out as a boy in the Cajun Desert, and I didn't like his story at all. His story centers around a group of people, a race of people who are rapists, murderers, and self-centered bastards. And he grows up to be a murderer and a self-centered bastard. That is part of their culture, but it's just something I couldn't get with. When they're boys and they're in training and they're trained from a young age to fight the quarrelings that rise. If you don't remember, I mentioned it in one of my book haul videos. This is the second book in the Demon Cycle. The first book is The Warded Man, and the whole background around the series is that there are demons who come from the ground, rise up from the ground at night, and the humans have to essentially fight for their lives to live through the night to survive the attack of the demons. So in the Cajun Desert, the Cajans are trained from a young age to learn how to fight the demons to survive. And when they're boys, they rape each other, and they do it in a forcible manner. You could go to the bathroom and be using the latrine, and someone comes and jerks you up and fucks you in the ass and leaves you, and everybody laughs at you because it's a joke, and keep on going about your day. That's not cool. As they become adults, they rape women, and if the women fight back or try to defend themselves or to oppose the rape, they're murdered. Because in their society, the men can do whatever the fuck they want, and the women who are their lesser beings and should be under their control, as well as the other people who are lesser beings, because there are men who are ostracized in their race as well. If you are a lesser being and you don't follow the order of the stronger, dominant man, then fuck you. I can kill you, and you can't do a damn thing about it, and neither can your family. And once I kill you, I'm going to rape your children, and I'm going to kill your sons. What the hell? So I didn't like any. That's part of the reason why it took me so long to finish this book, because every section of the book that focused on the Cajans, that focused on Jardir, it took me forever to get through, because in my mind I'm saying, I really want this to be over. I really want this to be over. I really want this to be over. And the 20-page chapter felt like 100 pages because they were full of rape, murder, and assholes. Yeah, so that's one thing that I didn't like about this story. Another thing that I did not like is this, like I said, it's the second book in the Demon Cycle. This is the first book, The Warded Man, and I read this and I loved this story. And that's why I picked up the second one, because I liked this one so much. Well, there is a part in The Warded Man, where the Warded Man, Arlen and Jardir, come to meet each other. And that part is in this book as well. It's in The Desert Spear as well. But the pieces don't match. The stories don't match. There's a major part of the story in The Warded Man that is not included in The Desert Spear. And I had an issue with that. As far as I'm concerned, if you're going to have two stories that intersect at some point, they should match. I don't think that would be too difficult to do. I mean, you wrote it, right? So the story should match in full. The only difference is, instead of getting it from Arlen's point of view in his story, you're getting it from Jardier's point of view. And I will be completely honest with you, the part where they intersect and they meet and they deal with each other is the only part of the story that I liked, that had to do with Jardier. Now, on to the stuff that I did like. I did enjoy catching up with the Warded Man, catching up with the people from, Cutter's Hollow and Tibbetts Brook, and the other minor characters. The Warded Man's not a minor character. He's a minor character in this story. But I did enjoy seeing how they have developed since their story stopped, or since we left them in The Warded Man. As much as I did not like Jardier's story, I understand why his story is significant. Like, you can't skip over his story or skip over parts of his story, because there are parts in his that are intermingled in his story that bring together everything that you need to know in this book about what is transpiring with the fight against the demons, the Warded Man's trek as he continues to go and fight and go from town to town and help out people. It's needed. You can't. I couldn't just skip over it. That I didn't like that either. But I did give it 4 stars on Goodreads, and the reason why I gave it 4 stars is because I understand the necessity of Jardier's story. I just didn't like his story. Like, I yearned for getting to the end of the chapter that was about him so I could get back to Leisha or Rena or Roger or anybody else that had to do with anything else other than Jardier. I even like the character Aban in this story that is from the Crazian Desert, but he is not of the mind of the people that Jardier deals with. I did enjoy his story. So, having said that, will I read book 3? Yes, because I like the overall the overall point of the series, the fight against the demons, and the demons are becoming smarter. It's a different kind of demon. They're learning more about what the demon race actually is, and they think that they're like stupid beings, but they're finding out that they're not. And the Warded Man is becoming this more complex person, and I want to see that. And Jardier, as much of an asshole as he is, has become affected by his interactions with other people in the story. So I want to see how that turns out for him now as an adult. As an adult, he's not so much of a rapist, and he's still an asshole, and he's still a murderer. So I'm hoping that part, as some other things, thought processes about him have changed, I'm hoping that comes to change as well. However, the next book in the series is called The Daylight War. The demons come out at night, so guess what? They're not fighting the demons. So instead of this being about coming together or the people being equipped to fight demons, now the people are going to fight each other. And I have stated before how I feel about war stories. I don't like them. So we'll see how book 3 goes. I probably will not read book 3 anytime soon. Might be in a year. It might be in a year, because I have some other things to read, and I did not buy that when I bought these 2. So yeah, I'm not in a rush to read book 3, but I will read book 3 and see where we go from there. So that is my review of that. I could not figure out a way, and I'm doing this like early in the morning, and I could not figure out a way to do that without cussing. But that's it. That is my review. I still suggest reading the stories, because even though I did not like Jardier's, I did not like the beginning, middle, and some of the end of Jardier's story, the book is still good because Jardier is not the only character in the book. There are characters from the first book who are in this book as well, and you see their stories as well. So if you can force yourself, like I did, to get beyond the sodomy, rape, murder, pig-headedness, assholiness. If you can figure out a way to get around that and work through that as I did, then I would certainly suggest reading the book. Or if you haven't read The Waterman, certainly start there, because if I had not started with The Waterman, I would not have finished The Desert Spear. Plain and simple. I would have read Jardier's part, or the beginning of the book with it, Jardier, and I would have taken my receipt and taken that right back to Barnes & Noble. So, yeah. That is the end of my review. Hope y'all are having a good weekend, whenever I upload this, and I will talk to y'all later. Peace out.